Dirty objects. Toby and Henrietta take the workmen to the quarry every morning. At the junction, they often meet James. Toby and Henrietta were shabby when they first came and needed new paint. James was very rude about them. Ugh, ugh, what dirty objects. Ugh, what dirty objects. At last, Toby lost his patience. You're James. Why are you red then, I'm a splendid engine, you see, ready for anything. You never see my paint dirty. Oh, no. Oh, that's why you once needed bootlaces to be ready, I suppose, James went redder than ever and snorted off. At the end of the line, James left his coaches and got ready for his next train. It was a slow goods, stopping at every station to pick up and set down trucks. James hated slow goods trains. Dirty trucks from dirty sidings. I hate them. I do, there you are. Starting with only a few trucks, he picked up more and more trucks at each station till he had a long train. At first, the trucks behaved well, but James bumped them so crossly that they determined to pay him out. Presently, rumbling over the viaduct, they approached the top of Gordon's Hill. Heavy goods trains halt here to pin down their brakes. James had had an accident with trucks before and should have remembered this. His driver called to him, "Wait, James, wait, wait!" But James wouldn't wait. He was too busy thinking what he would say to Toby when they next met. All too late, he saw where he was and he tried to stop. The trucks saw their chance and started to laugh and shout, "Ha ha ha ha, ha ha," and banging their buffers, they pushed him down the hill. The guard tightened his brakes until they screamed, and the trucks shouted, "Oh, oh, 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 oh." James was frightened. "I've got to stop! I've got to stop! I've got to stop! I've got to stop!" And setting his brakes, he managed to check the truck's mad rush, but they were still going much too fast to stop in time. Through the station they thundered and lurched into the yard. James said, "Oh, oh, oh," and shut his eyes. There was a bursting crash, and something sticky splashed all over him. He had run into 2 tar wagons and was black from smoke box to cab. James was more dirty than hurt, but the tar wagons and some of the trucks were all to pieces. The breakdown train was in the yard, and they soon tidied up the mess. Toby and Percy were sent to help, and came as quickly as they could. And Toby said to Percy, "Look here, Percy, whatever is that dirty object there? Any idea?" "Oh, that's James, Toby. Didn't you know?" "No, it's James's shape, all right. But James is a splendid red engine, and you never see his paint dirty, do you? Never James dirty, eh?" James shut his eyes and pretended he hadn't heard. They cleared away the unhurt trucks and helped James home. The fat controller was there to meet them. "Well done, Percy. Well done, Toby. And now you, James. Really. Fancy letting your trucks run away like that. I'm surprised. You're not fit to be seen. You must be cleaned at once. And Toby shall have a coat of paint. Chocolate and blue, I think." thank you, sir. And please, sir, can Henrietta have a coat of paint too?
Certainly, Toby, certainly. She should be brown, like Annie and Clarabelle.
Oh, thank you, sir. She will be pleased. And Toby ran home happily to tell her the news. Mrs. Kindley's Christmas. It was nearly Christmas. Annie and Clarabelle were packed full of people and parcels. Thomas was having very hard work pulling them. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. The coaches grumbled and were feeling so full. We're feeling so full. We're feeling so full. We're feeling so full. Thomas looked at the hill ahead. Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? Suddenly he saw a handkerchief waving from a cottage window. He felt better at once. Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can. He pulled his hardest and was soon through the tunnel and resting in the station. Thomas's driver said to him, "That was Mrs. Kindley who waved to you, Thomas. She has to stay in bed all day." "Oh, has she? Oh, poor lady. I am sorry for her. I am sorry." Engines have heavy loads at Christmas time, but Thomas and Toby didn't mind the hard work when they saw Mrs. Kindley waving. But then it began to rain. It rained for days and days. Thomas didn't like it. Mrs. Kindley couldn't wave on wet days. But whether she waved or not, they always whistled when they passed the little lonely cottage. Its white walls stood out against the dark background of the hills. Then, one day, Thomas's fireman said, "Hello, look at that." The driver came across the cab.
"Ah, something's gone wrong there."
And there, hanging, flapping and bedraggled from a window of Mrs. Kindley's cottage, was something that looked like a large red flag.
"Mrs. Kindley needs help, I expect. Let's stop, Thomas."
And he put on the brakes, and Thomas gently stopped. The guard came squelching through the rain and mud up to Thomas's cab, and the driver pointed to the flag.
"See if there's a doctor on the train, and ask him to go to the cottage. Then walk back to the station and tell him that we've stopped."
The fireman went to see if the line was clear in front. 2 passengers left the train and climbed to the cottage. Then the fireman returned, and the driver said,
"Well, I think we'll back down to the station, so that Thomas can get a good start."
But the fireman said,
"Huh, we shan't get up that hill.
Come and see what's happened." They walked along the line, round the bend, and the driver said,
"Whoa, Jiminy Christmas. Go back to the train. I'm going to the cottage."
He found the doctor with Mrs. Kindley.
"Are you all right, Mrs. Kindley?"
"Oh, yes, thank you. It was silly of me to faint, wasn't it? But you saw the red dressing gown hanging out of the window, didn't you? Are you all safe?"
"Oh, yes, thank you, ma'am. I've just come to thank you. You know what, doctor? There's a landslide in the cutting. Mrs. Kindley saw it from the window, and she stopped us. She saved our lives."
"God bless you, ma'am." And the driver went back to the train. They cleared the line by Christmas Day, and the sun shone as a special train puffed up from the junction. First came Toby, then Thomas with Annie and Clarabelle, and last of all
but very pleased at being allowed to come, was Henrietta. The fat controller was there, and lots of other people who wanted to say thank you to Mrs. Kindley. The engines whistled and called out when they reached the cottage. Happy Christmas! Happy Christmas! Happy Christmas! The people got out and climbed to the cottage. Thomas and Toby wished they could go too. Mrs. Kindley's husband met them at the door. The fat controller, Thomas's driver, fireman and guard went upstairs to give her some presents. Mrs. Kindley was very pleased. "Oh, you're very good to me. Very good indeed." And the fat controller said, The passengers and I hope that you will accept these tickets for the South Coast, Mrs. Kindley, and get really well in the sunshine. We cannot thank you enough for preventing an accident, a nasty accident. Now, I hope we've not tired you. Goodbye, and a happy Christmas. Then, going quietly downstairs, they joined the group outside the window and sang some carols. Mrs. Kindley is now at Bournemouth, getting better every day, and Thomas and Toby are looking forward to the time when they can welcome her home.